Episode 12, The Tower Moment in Spiritual Growth. Sometimes life doesn't fall apart, it falls into place. The tower moment feels like destruction, but it's actually your soul demanding truth and alignment. There comes a point in every spiritual journey when life seems to collapse all at once. The job you thought was secure ends, the relationship you clung to unravels, or the beliefs you built your identity on suddenly no longer make sense. It feels like the ground has been pulled from beneath you, leaving you disoriented and wondering, why is everything falling apart? This is what we call a tower moment, a period of sudden change that shakes the very foundation of who you are. The tower is not a punishment, it's a divine intervention. Much like the tarot card it's named after, it represents a breakdown of false structures, illusions, attachments, and outdated patterns that could never truly support the soul you are becoming. Though it feels chaotic, the tower arrives to liberate you. It clears away what no longer serves your growth, creating the space for something more aligned, authentic, and lasting to take root. In this episode, we'll explore the deeper meaning of the tower moment in spiritual growth. We'll talk about how to recognize when you're in one, the lessons hidden within the chaos, and practical ways to navigate it with strength and surrender. If you're feeling like everything in your life is crumbling, take heart. This isn't the end of your story, it's the beginning of a profound transformation. It's funny how life imitates art. As I sit here today, I'm going through the largest tower moment of my life. To spare you the gory details, I'm forced to stay the same, or choose myself and rise above this mundane, stagnant life. In the muck of my mess, Awakened Soul Co. was born. As I sit in this room today writing out scripts, working on the brand, publishing social media posts and videos, I ask myself, where am I going next? At this current moment, I truly do not know, but I know for certain I'm going up from here. You see, when my tower fell, my entire world shattered. It happened over 2 years ago, and I decided to choose myself for a change. Everything that surrounded me, I was serving others' needs and neglecting my own. When I started to truly wake up to myself, all of the distractions, addictions, negativity, and narcissists started to fall away. My life looked completely different. The growth was extremely uncomfortable, but I knew it had to happen for me to come out on the other side. I am challenged by this test of will every day. Think of it like an addict wanting one more hit. The past that kept showing up for me was a constant string of dopamine hits. The further I moved away from this energy, the more my faith rose to the surface. The more my core resonated with source energy and the vibration of love and authenticity. I no longer crave my past life. I emerged onto a new highway and changed the radio station. Things became very quiet. People, places, things, and experiences all melted away. I felt I was protected and isolated so I could quiet the mind and get serious about what I want in this lifetime. So what do you really want? Take a moment and ask yourself this question. 10 years ago, it would have been a fancy car or a large home. Now, for me, it's my freedom from the current reality. Time freedom, more time to spend on my health, giving back to my community, showing up for myself so I can show up for others in strength, movement to amplify change so I can travel the world to inspire others, teaching people they have an option to choose a different, more elevated life. In a recent breakup, I lost my home and 90% of my belongings. So many people become attached to stuff. This huge purge in my life created a space where I had energy flow and space for the new that is arriving. The tower moment often looks like failure, heartbreak, or disappointment on the surface. The job that falls apart, the relationship that ends, the plan that crumbles in front of you. It can feel like everything is collapsing, and in many ways it is. But what's really happening is the dismantle of structures that were never built on solid ground. The tower moment clears away what can't stand so that you can rebuild on truth, alignment, and authenticity. It's powerful in the moment, but it's also sacred. A divine reset that creates a space for you to rise stronger, freer, and more aligned with who you really are. What a tower moment is. A tower moment takes its name from the tower card in the tarot, one of the most striking and misunderstood archetypes in the deck. The card depicts a tall structure struck by lightning, crumbling as people fall from its heights. At first glance, it looks destructive and unsettling. No one welcomes the image of a collapse. But with its symbolism lies profound truth. Anything built on shaky or false foundations cannot last forever. Spirit intervenes, often subtly, to dismantle what no longer supports our highest path. Symbolically, the tower represents abrupt change, the breakdown of illusion, and the stripping away of ego-driven identities. It's the shattering of the rules, beliefs, and attachments we thought defined us. In essence, it is the death of the false self. When the process feels destabilizing, like being thrown into the unknown, it's ultimately our release. The tower clears away what no longer aligns so that we can stand on our truth rather than illusion. This is why a tower moment feels chaotic, but it's actually a breakthrough in disguise. It forces us to surrender control and let go of the structures we clung to for safety. And while the collapse can be painful, what follows is freedom, the opportunity to rebuild from a place of authenticity and deeper alignment with our soul's purpose. Far from being the end, the tower marks the beginning of a more grounded, awakened chapter of our spiritual journey. The purpose of the tower. The deeper purpose of the tower is not destruction for its own sake, it's liberation. Life, or spirit, uses these moments to strip away illusions and false identities we've outgrown, but still may cling to. Often we build parts of our lives on fear, people-pleasing, or outdated beliefs about who we are supposed to be. The tower comes in to dismantle those fragile structures so that we can no longer hide behind them. What's left standing is raw, real, and unshakably true. Tower moments act as a catalyst for authenticity. They force us to confront where we've been living out of an alignment, staying in relationships that no longer nourish us, working jobs that drain our spirit, or play small to keep others comfortable. While painful, the collapse is also clarifying. It pulls us back into integrity with ourselves and pushes us towards choice that honors our soul, not our comfort zone. Most importantly, the tower clears out old, stagnant energy to make space for something greater. Just like a forest fire clears dead woods so new growth can emerge, a tower moment burns away what is outdated so new life, opportunities, and levels of consciousness can take root. When we understand this, we stop fearing the tower and start recognizing it as a sacred turning point, a chance to rebuild on foundations of truth and purpose. Signs you're in a tower moment. One of the clearest signs of a tower moment is the experience of sudden endings. Relationships you thought were solid may suddenly dissolve. A job or a career path may come to an abrupt close, or long-held habits and belief systems collapse almost overnight. These shifts can feel jarring because they often happen without warning, but in truth, they reveal what's already unstable beneath the surface, cracks in the foundation that could no longer be ignored. Another sign is the emotional weight that comes in. Tower moments often bring waves of overwhelm, grief, anger, or confusion. You may find yourself questioning everything, your purpose, your identity, even your faith. It can feel as though you're walking through chaos when nothing makes sense and the old ways of coping no longer work. This emotional intensity isn't a sign of failure. It's a signal that deep transformation is underway. Finally, a tower moment carries the visceral feeling that the ground is being pulled out from under you. It's the sense that life, as you knew it, has been disrupted, leaving you in a free fall. And while this can be deeply unsettling, it's also a powerful invitation to surrender. When the old scaffolding of your life is gone, you're being given a chance to rebuild. Not from fear or illusion, but from truth, alignment, and a stronger foundation than ever before. Lessons inside the chaos. One of the greatest lessons a tower moment teaches is that the breakdown always precedes breakthrough. In the middle of collapse, it may feel like everything is ending, but in reality, something new is trying to be born. The loss, the endings, and the unraveling are clearing a path for a more aligned version of yourself to emerge. When you shift your perspective from my life is falling apart to my life is falling into place, you begin to see the hidden wisdom within the chaos. Tower moments also invite us to use profound lessons of surrender. Your natural instinct is to cling to control, to hold tighter to what is slipping away. But the harder we resist, the more painful the process becomes. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting that there is a higher order at work. Even if you can't see it yet, it's allowing yourself to release the need to manage every outcome and instead leaning into faith, flow, and the guidance of your higher self. Finally, these moments challenge us to rebuild from the truth rather than fear. After the collapse, we're given the rare opportunity to examine what we truly want, what we truly believe, and what actually supports us. It's in this space of raw honesty that we can create a foundation rooted in authenticity. No more living for others' expectations or hiding behind old identities. The tower ensures that when you rise again, it is with integrity, alignment, and courage. I remember one of my tower moments vividly. It was a time when a relationship I had built so much of my identity around suddenly ended. At the time, I couldn't see beyond the pain. I felt like I had not just a partner, but a sense of who I was. My world felt unstable, and I questioned everything I thought I knew about love, security, and even my own worth. It was as if the foundation of my life had been struck by lightning, and I was left standing in the rubble, unsure of how to move forward. At first, I resisted. I tried to hold on, to control the outcome, to fix what was already broken. The more I grasped, the more painful it became. It wasn't until I finally surrendered, allowing myself to accept what had ended and trusting that something greater was unfolding, that I began to find peace. That surrender wasn't easy, but it opened up the door to healing through journaling, meditation, and leaning on supportive community. I began to see this collapse was not the end of me, but an invitation to a more authentic version of myself. On the other side of that tower moment, I discovered strength and clarity I never knew I had. I realized that the relationship had been built on a foundation of fear of being alone, fear of not being enough. Its collapse forced me to find wholeness within myself. What emerged was a deeper sense of self-worth, independence, and alignment with my true values. Looking back, I can see that tower did not destroy me, it freed me, and that's the paradox. What feels like devastation in the moment can become the greatest gift your soul has ever received. Tools for navigating a tower moment. When you find yourself in the middle of a tower moment, the first step is grounding. Chaos often pulls us into the mind, overthinking, spiraling, and trying to make sense of everything at once. That's why practices like breath work, spending time in nature, or daily journaling are so powerful. They bring you back into your body, back into your present moment, and remind you that even if structures around you are collapsing, you're still here, breathing, and safe in the moment. Support systems are equally important. Tower moments can feel isolating, but they aren't meant to be navigated alone. Whether it's leaning on a trusted friend, seeking guidance from a mentor, talking with a therapist, or finding strength in spiritual community, connection helps you process the intensity of the experience. Others can hold space for you, mirror back your strength, and remind you what feels like an ending is also a beginning. Finally, shift your mindset and create daily rituals that steady your energy. Instead of asking, "Why me?" which keeps you in a victim mode, being asked, "What is this teaching me?" This small reframe opens you up to growth and wisdom. Alongside that simple ritual, like lighting a candle with intention, starting your day with a protective affirmation, or closing the evening with gratitude can help you anchor you when everything else feels uncertain. These practices remind you that while you can't control the storm, you can choose how you show up with it. Integration after the fall. Once the dust settles after a tower moment, you're left standing at a crossroads. This is where integration begins, the slow and intentional process of rebuilding your life on stronger foundations. Instead of running back into old patterns, you now have the opportunity to choose differently. This means re-examining your values, your beliefs, and your purpose. What truly matters to you? What no longer fits? By answering these questions, you begin laying bricks that can actually support the person you're becoming. This is also the moment to step more fully into alignment with your higher self. The collapse cleared away everything that wasn't truly yours. Now you get to listen to the whispers of your soul without distraction. Perhaps that means pursuing a calling you've avoided, setting boundaries that honor your energy, or embodying the self-worth you once outsourced to others. Every small choice you make in this phase becomes an act of alignment, pulling you closer to your authentic path. And finally, integration allows you to see the tower not as a curse but as a gift. With time and reflection, the chaos reveals its purpose: rebirth, clarity, and liberation. You begin to understand that what fell away was never meant to stay, and what remains is far more aligned with your truth. In this light, the tower is no longer a terrifying force of destruction. It's the hand of grace guiding you back to yourself and to the life you were always meant to live. Here are some questions. What was your biggest tower moment and how did you move through it? What lessons did you only see in hindsight? What tools help you ground and rebuild? Breaking down as awakening. When life begins to fall apart, it's natural to see it as failure or misfortune. Jobs end, relationships dissolve, beliefs collapse, and it feels like everything is unraveling. But in this spiritual journey, these breakdowns are not mistakes. They are awakenings in disguise. What looks like destruction is often the soul breaking free from old patterns and structures that no longer serve your growth. The collapse is not the end of your story, it's the clearing of space for a truer version of you to emerge. Breakdowns force us to face truths we might otherwise avoid. They strip away comfort zones, illusions, and false identities, leaving us raw but real. In the emptiness that follows, we are given the choice to ask deeper questions. Who am I without these roles? What do I really value? Where is my soul leading me now? In this way, the very thing we fear, loss, endings, uncertainty, become the catalysts that propel us towards authenticity and higher awareness. Awakening rarely comes through ease, it comes through disruption. Breakdown is the soul's way of shaking us awake, showing us where we've been asleep in our lives, and urging us to rise into greater consciousness. Instead of resisting or blaming the collapse, we can begin to see it as initiation, a sacred threshold that every awakened soul must pass through. Breakdown isn't punishment, it's the doorway to your transformation. The ego is the part of us that builds identity around roles, achievements, relationships, and external validation. It creates a sense of safety by clinging to what is familiar, even when those structures are no longer healthy or true for us. The tower comes to disrupt these attachments, shattering the illusions that we are only what we do, what we have, or how others see us. It forces us to confront the fragile scaffolding of identity that has been holding us back from our deepest essence. When the tower strikes, the mask falls away. The job title, the relationship status, the material possessions, all the outer layers we use to define ourselves can be stripped away from us in an instant. The stripping is painful because the ego equates it with death. But in reality, it's a rebirth. Beneath those layers lies the authentic self, the soul that exists beyond achievement and labels. The tower doesn't destroy who we are, it destroys who we are not. By removing these ego-driven layers, the tower creates an opportunity to rebuild from a place of truth, instead of chasing external approval or clinging to identities that no longer fit. We're called to live from the inside out. This is where authenticity, freedom, and alignment with the higher self begins. In this sense, the tower is not the enemy of the ego, it's the medicine that breaks its grip, freeing us to embody who we were always meant to be. How to hold compassion for yourself when everything feels unstable. When everything around you feels like it's collapsing, the natural impulse is often self-blame. You might find yourself asking, what did I do wrong? Why can't I hold it all together? But tower moments are not punishments, and they're not reflections of your worth. They are invitations to grow, and that growth begins with compassion. Remind yourself that it's okay to not have all the answers. It's okay to feel lost, and it's okay to grieve what's falling away. Compassion gives you permission to be human in the middle of the storm. Holding compassion also means softening the pressure to bounce back quickly. Transformation is not a linear process. It ebbs and flows with moments of clarity and moments of confusion. Instead of pushing yourself to be strong all of the time, allow yourself rest, gentleness, and patience. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to a dear friend going through upheaval, with kindness, understanding, and reassurance that they're not alone. Compassion can look like small acts of self-care, creating quiet moments for breath work, Journaling your feelings without judgment, or simply placing a hand on your heart, reminding yourself, I'm safe, I'm worthy, and I'm growing. These practices anchor you in love rather than fear, even when your outer world feels unstable. When you meet yourself with compassion, you transform the tower moment from a place of collapse into sanctuary of healing and inner strength. Practical steps to navigate chaos without losing your center. The first step to navigating chaos is to ground yourself daily. When everything external feels unstable, your breath, your body, and the present moment become your anchors. Simple practices like deep belly breathing, walking barefoot in nature, or journaling your emotions each morning can help bring you back into your body and remind you that you are safe here and now. Grounding interrupts the spiral of panic and gives you a stable inner foundation even when the outer world feels shaky. The second step is to create supportive structures that hold you. This might mean leaning into routines that give you rhythm, like starting your day with a calming ritual or ending your evening with a gratitude practice. It also means reaching out for support, talking with a trusted friend, a therapist, or spiritual mentor who can mirror back your strength when you can't see it yourself. Community reminds you that you don't have to carry the tower alone, and routine provides a sense of order when everything else feels unpredictable. Finally, protect your mindset by shifting how you interpret the chaos. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" reframe it into, "What is it teaching me?" This question transforms struggle into wisdom and helps you see yourself as an active participant in your growth rather than the victim of your circumstance. Pair this with your daily affirmations, like "I trust this process," or "I am becoming stronger through this," or keep your energy steady. These small, powerful practices help you hold your center, reminding you that while you can't always control the storm, you can choose how you walk through it. As we close today's conversation, remember this. The tower is not punishment, it's liberation. When life feels like it's falling apart, it's really falling into place. The collapse isn't here to destroy you. It's here to free you from illusion, outdated patterns, and false identities that no longer serve your soul. Breakdown always clears the path for authentic alignment. What feels like loss is actually making space for truth. These moments strip away what isn't real, so you can finally rebuild on foundations that are unshakable: your values, your integrity, and your connection to your higher self. Surrender is your greatest power. By letting go of control and trusting the process, you allow transformation to work through you instead of resisting it. Because on the other side of destruction is not emptiness, it's rebirth, clarity, and higher truth. The tower is the hand of grace, guiding you back to who you were always meant to be. Before we close today, I want to leave you with this affirmation. I trust the falling away, for it clears space for my soul to rise. Let this reminder carry you through any tower moment you may be walking through right now. If you found this episode helpful, please take a moment to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who might need these words today. Your support helps this community grow and allows more souls to find the healing they've searched for. And don't forget to join me in the next episode, where we will be diving into energy hygiene, how to protect, cleanse, and maintain your energy on a daily basis so that you can stay grounded and clear no matter what life brings. You won't want to miss it.